the great product we witness. One second. He was wearing different hats, served the communities, and his talents and gifts God provided him. I was so fortunate and blessed meeting him at the younger age, both in school and the Central YMCA of Radkilo, and later we reunited in Los Angeles. He was a bodybuilder, physically strong, boxer, established his fame among our communities, attended Olympic competition, trained young boxers, and later made Los Angeles his second home, roughly in 1979. He raised two beautiful children, Salamite and Johannes, and she's going to join us meeting to commemorate his legacy, to pass on the next generation, being an inspiration, and also to share his loving fatherhood. I want to introduce our lovely daughter, which the name given to her, Salamite, peace, and her brother Johannes. I see him on the screen, and welcome aboard. I want to give the chance to Salamite to take over. Can you mute it, please? Thank you. So I'm giving the chance to her to say a few words. Salamite.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this commemorative program. My name is Salamwood Seifu. Salamwood Makonnen Seifu. Should I start again? I'm not sure if you guys heard me. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Salamwood Makonnen Seifu. I am the daughter of the late great champion, two-time Olympic boxer Seifu Tibo Makonnen. The purpose of this presentation is to highlight and preserve his proud accomplishments and to expose the youth to his journey and to inspire his historical journey and to inspire generations to come. So this is the purpose of this whole program. So thank you for joining. We're going to move on to the slides that are presented. I would like to present to you all. This is my presentation. So it starts off with Seifu Makonnen, Life and Legacy of My Olympian Father. As you see here, it's a photograph of him in the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games on the far left. The middle is just showing his pride in his flag and his actual car, who was very happy with wrapping it in the Ethiopian flag, and he has his peace sign up that he's always a peaceful person. He always was a gentleman and very humble, as you see there, smiling all the time. And me and my brother on the far right, that's my brother Johannes, and that's me as a little girl. So he was very fond of just being a father and being a mentor to the youth. So I love this picture. So moving on to the next slide. Again, to highlight and preserve the remarkable historical achievements of Seifu Tibo Makonnen. On the far left, you see a picture of him wearing his Olympic jersey at the age of 19 when he first made it to the Olympics. So that was a huge accomplishment for someone of his age, and where he came from in Shoa, actually the province of Shoa in all the way in Ethiopia in Ellil. So to come so far at such a young age was a huge accomplishment. And in the middle, you see a photograph taken at Dama Restaurant in Arlington, Virginia. A beautiful picture with him standing there with the photograph of ECLA and Mama Wilde. So this was amazing. I took this photograph because I thought it was very, very poignant to see Olympians all together all at once. So this was amazing. In the far right, that was his vintage California license plate. That is the ex-Olympian license plate, the most famous license plate. I still have that in my house right now. So I love to see that, and hopefully one day, like I can get a classic car like he had. He loved cars. He loved, being bold and standing out. So that was great. I love this. So moving on to the next slide. So starting off in his early years, my dad was a very strong and physically fit teen. He was a part of the YMCA in Arachilo, where he was known for his athletic build and fearless yet caring nature. Um, I always got stories at church and all of his friends telling me how he used to beat up the town bully and he wouldn't let anybody just, pick on the little guys. He always stood up for what was right, and that was really a beautiful picture that I was able to find with him in the YMCA. As you see, he's in the middle, the tallest and the most, threatening looking person, but he's not. He's very gentle and he loves everybody in the YMCA. The next one, middle picture, is just showing he was also very strong athletically. And the last one is the word coach. I think he was a coach at some point at a younger age as well. So, um, and so the next slide we'll move on to is, and he got into the sport of boxing in 1971 while he was a student at the Manila the second high school, and he was scouted by an American teacher at that time. After a few exhibition fights, as you see here, he was the East and Central African champion. Um, I actually made it to the Olympics on 1972 Olympics. That was held in Montreal. No, it was 1972 and 1976. So 1972 Olympics was held in Munich, and after Munich on 1973, he won a gold medal at the Eastern Central African Championship in Addis. So this is some photographs here showing him at age of 20 fighting in some fights here, winning against I believe Ugandan fighter. And on the far right, you see he won the top spot. So he was the most feared fighter in East and Central Africa and in the early 70s at that time. So moving on, I'm very proud of this, by the way, very proud to see all these accomplishments about someone so young, and this should inspire all the young people to look back on this history. So this one is the pictures with the Ethiopian Olympic team. And if you see really closely on the left, you see Middle Yosef. Yeah, Middle Yosef. He's right there. And then you see Mama Wilde. And then you see my dad peeking over Mama Wilde's shoulder. So that is a beautiful, beautiful historical picture. Something that my dad was so proud of. He loved to show me these photographs of all that he experienced in his life. And then there's another photograph here on the right side with him and some more teammates as a young man. And so moving on to the next slide. You see, these are the Munich games. And 1972, he is in Munich, Germany, and sitting down with one of the class on the left side here. And then on the right side, you see him in his nice track suit. That's his actual favorite thing to wear. Is like the track suit, the sporting wear. That's like the quintessential way that I see my dad all the time wearing those comfortable track suits. Everything is about sports. So yeah, I love these pictures. They're amazing. Next one. Next one is these are some of the newspapers um, that were pretty much circulating around Ethiopia at the time of my dad's career there, and I think it's really amazing. This is actually not the first time that he made it into newspapers. Once he made it to LA, he also was in the LA Times during his sickness with battling with kidney failure. But I think that's still a huge source of inspiration to myself and all the youth that are watching this program and who can watch it in the future. So moving on to the next slide. I think here we will let Shift go ahead and do the introduction of the speakers and what you, then we'll go back to the rest of the slides.
Thank you, Salamite.
Of course.
That was a wonderful presentation. You took us back to our old time memories. To say a few words, like I said it before, Seifu was wearing different hats. He served in church as board member, activities in communities, sport radio in DC, established Ababakila half marathon in DC, raising funds for various charities, became certified health trainer in DC, respectful global citizen, had special heart and feeling to motherland. And the next speaker I'm going to be inviting, Eyob. Eyob, which he doesn't need an introduction. The whole community, they know. A marathon runner for many years, full and half marathon. At ECLA, he shared us the Olympic history, and his presentation really taught us a lot. And I want to invite him. He had, he's going to share us something, a relationship we had with the big heart, Tibo. Eyob, I'll give you the chance. Go ahead.
Very much, Chef. First and foremost, I want to thank you, the Ethiopian community in Los Angeles, and of course, Salam and Johnny for inviting me for this honorable occasion. It is my privilege, and I am so proud to actually mention a couple of experiences that I shared as a young kid with Seifu Makonnen, otherwise I'm popularly known as Tibo to all of us. My first introduction to him goes way back to 1972 as a 10-year-old kid. And during the summer vacation from school, I used to love wandering around our neighborhood with the neighborhood kids, playing soccer every chance I got. This, after a short spell of time, was not seen favorably by my father, who wanted me so much to stop wandering around the neighborhood, following that soccer ball and playing around the neighborhood. And instead, he basically required me, dragged me to the Arat Kilo YMCA, because in his mind, he said, if you are so inclined to be active in sports, I might as well get you into an organized sport, which is being led by a reputable organization, as the YMCA was at that time. So as a 10-year-old kid, I was actually dragged into the Arat Kilo YMCA, so far away from my immediate vicinity, and made absolutely long-lasting and forever friends, that basically were residents of the Arat Kilo, um, uh, Kabana, and all of those vicinity areas, to a point where I became so inseparable for them. So at that time, YMCA had a very organized day-long program for youth such as myself. And it took us Monday through Friday, almost like an all-day program, where we started off with table tennis, and we proceeded on to be coached and trained in basketball. And then finally, before the day was out, and before we actually had our cafeteria lunch, because we could not take all of the stomach punches that Seifu Tibo actually would practice on us. That was my first introduction to this humongous, I swear to God, he looked, I mean, when we looked up as small kids, he actually looked as high up as Mount Everest himself, you know. Yeah, we used to actually look up so bad, because he was the biggest and gentle, giant we all knew. But he was very humble at the same time. And as a 10-year-old kid, you can only imagine this was very overwhelming to me, even though I wanted to stay active. So honorable mention here to a couple of other giants that actually dominated the YMCA scene at that time. We were first coached in ping pong or table tennis with my childhood friends that need to be mentioned here. Huge family members, Fasaha Mokria and Maaza Mokria, who themselves were very accomplished Addis Ababa tennis youth champions. And then we proceeded on to the basketball field, where legendary, players, our Magic Johnson version at that time, like Zamariam Siyum, Zaramariam Siyum, and all of his brothers that dominated the basketball gym. Akalo Mokria was also another notable player that was very well known around the YMCA. And then last but not least, we would head on over, tired as we were, to the boxing gym, where Tibo was actually waiting for us with bated breath. And he made us start working out all over again from the very beginning. And we dreaded putting on those gloves and actually practicing our uppercuts and our swings. But I owed my very first introduction to that experience, which is going to live and die with me for as long as I can remember. 3 decades later, we finally met up again in the city of Angels, Los Angeles, California, and we actually, reinforced our bondage. To this day, he still looks down at me like a 10-year-old kid that he first knew, and after all these years, he still refers to me as Anchi in Amharic, which basically is an amiable nickname given to a small kid. But that's the closeness we have, and as a result, I got to know his children from birth to being bred here in Los Angeles. So it's not without reason that both of them refer to me as Uncle Eob, which I love and cherish so much. So with that said, Tibo, in later years, and especially when I transitioned into marathon running, oriented me to the Abebe Bikila half marathon and 5K race that he held every year in Washington, D.C. And we had actually made plans. It never materialized, but we had made plans for me to finally give it a shot and put it on my calendar for the September prior to him being hospitalized. Such is the meaning of life these days. And when man proposes, God has to dispose. And it did not materialize. But by the same token, and this is a good seamless transition for me, through this Abebe Bikila event that he hosted, I actually had the fortunate opportunity to meet up with Jacob Wind, his collaborator on this event. And one time we actually bumped into each other, both as marathon runners in no other place but Boston. So maybe Jay remembers that, and maybe he will say a few words about that. But it is once again an honor and a huge privilege for me to actually stand here in testimony to this unsung hero, an ordinary man who actually has done extraordinary things. And every opportunity I've had in the past, I have mentioned the importance of recognizing the heroes among us, not simply because and after they have passed, but while they're still living. It's so very important to give our thanks and to be supportive of the roles, responsibilities, and meaningful contribution that they have made to our community, to our nation, and the motherland that he loves so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eyob. That was an amazing witnessing. Tibo, he's a giant guy. You're right, and he has a big heart, a very humble. When we were very close, age-wise, and every time I see him, I see peace in him, and he protects you from others. He was incredible. He's an incredible guy. I call him an angel without wings, and I wish he was here to hear all these words, but like you said, we shouldn't do it after. We should do it while they are alive. But I'm very happy, Salamat, you holding his legacy and want to pass it on to the next generation.
Yes.
Before further ado, I want to invite Mr. J.J. Wynn. I just talked to him today, and Tibo, he always talk about you. I feel that I know you. He was a good partner of you. And I know you had a great time at the half marathon. I'm not a runner, but I'm a watcher. I watch people running. So I want to give you a chance to say a few words, and here's a time for you. Go ahead, Mr. J.
Oh, thank you. You'll be amused to know that my project this week is to restore the poster on Tibo's his left, photo right, so that I can bring it to the race that we will conduct on 11 September this year, the 15th annual. And it all started when we were gonna do an 8 kilometer, which is like 5 miles, and a half marathon in 2006. And I was putting up a poster at Osni Market, an Ethiopian store in Arlington near my home. And Seifu happened to be there, and he said, why don't you make it in the name of Abebe Bikila? Because he knew Bikila from the Olympics. Bikila had run in 1964, where he won, and in 1968, where he was in the lead before he was hurting and dropped out and let Mama Waldy take the lead. That itself is a good story. And then that motivated Seifu to become an Olympian in 72 and 76, fighting a win and then a draw in Munich. And then sadly, because of the African boycott of the 76 Olympics, he didn't get to fight, but he was still a two-time Olympian. So let me share my screen. And let me go over to here. And I'll show you what Seifu has spawned. This is this year's Abebe Bikila International Peace Marathon. And interestingly, there was just an article in yesterday's Washington Post about the U.S. Peace Institute. And Seifu suggested back in 2006, why don't I contact them? I did. I called them, I wrote them, and they never responded. And now they're in the paper about how they never responded to anyone, but that's another story. This year's T-shirt is nothing short of spectacular. It represents the entire history of Abebe Bikila, a story that Seifu knew very, very, very well. Now, that first year, Carla McDuffie, our staff artist who drew the t-shirt, she took some very classic photographs in 2000. It says 2020 was when she published them, but 2006 was when they were taken. And here is an example of this boy has now become quite the athlete in the Washington area. These young people run races. Here's Seifu greeting the athletes who went on to win. Here he is lined up with the other Ethiopian athletes, plus Victoria, who is very definitely not Ethiopian. Victoria Lynch is as Irish as they get. And here he is with Tillahun Gesesa and Tillahun's grandchild, who ran in the children's race. It's extraordinary what Seifu, who he was able to motivate and who he was able to get involved. I did some work on his original Wikipedia page, and then others picked it up and added a great many details to Seifu's story. But what's really interesting is what we've done with the t-shirts over the years. We made the 2017 race and the 2018 race. Oops, come back here, you. And the 2019 race all supported Seifu's effort to combat diabetes. And for us to look back over Seifu's life and to honor him this way is really very moving for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. That was a good presentation, and it's going to be helping us to know more about him. And the next guest is an amazing guy. He used to be a national team player back in Ethiopia. And his kind heart and his life is into social work. And I want to invite him, Mr. Schwangazau Argonafer. Can you make him unmute and give him a chance to say a few words? Are you here, Mr. Schwangzao? Okay, we'll get back to him. In the meantime, and I do have something I want to share with you. We had Tibo's friends. We're about 17 of us when he was diagnosed and diabetic, and we were very supportive. And I want to thank Makonnen Gurma. He was the leader, and we had 17 of us. And I want to mention them, if you don't mind. Tedia Gonafer, Martha Nagash, Million Gabriel Johannes, I think rest in peace. Badleka Teka, rest in peace. Aswa Teferi, Abarra Gabre, Alex Alamayo, and me, Shifta Neka. Basila Beba, he was a great MC for us. Johnny Daneka and Johnny Brahano, Tariku Tilamo, Alma Johannes, a cousin of Tibo, and rest in peace. Amy Agide, Makoya, Mulgeta, Michael. We used to go, I think it was every 2 weeks. So we used to go to Rosaline. And I want to thank Rosaline Honor Fikre. He allowed us, to use his hallway, and we're able to raise some money for him. But like Job said it, man proposed, God disposed. But right now he's in a better place. He's very peaceful person. Whenever I go visit him, I want to to lift his moral, to lift him up. But in reverse, he's the one who lift me up. He was a real fighter. He fight it through. When we're discussing, when we sit down and talk to him, who was your idol? Of course, everybody knows Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali, when he was very young, the way he shuffle his legs and do stuff, and I can see it. I can see it in Tibo. Tibo is a wonderful guy. What I'll do right now is if Makonnen, Mako Gurma,
I was gonna ask you one thing. Is it
Go
just
ahead.
so you guys know, there's additional slides that I do want to share. So whenever you think it's appropriate.
Okay. I just want to give a chance to Maku. He
Okay.
was our leader, among the 17 of us. Maku, if you're here, I want you to say a few words, and if you be comfortable, you go ahead. And then I'll get back to Mr. Shwangazal if I can.
Okay.
I think Maku is in, right?
Makonnen?
Makonnen Gurma. He left. Oh, he's here. Makonnen, don't be shy. Okay. If he's not coming, I can say on behalf of him. He was, Makonnen was like his father, because Seifu Makonnen, right? And they were very, very, very close. A matter of fact, he didn't know him in Ethiopia, but he knew him here. But he took the lead, and the 17 of us, we end up to be Tibo's friend, which we're gonna be his friend forever. Is Mr. Schwangs out there? Okay, if he's not there, so Salamat, I'll give you a chance to share us your slide.
Okay. So I just wanted to start discussing the legacy and what my dad, what accomplishments he has made that will live on forever. So starting with Seifu as a personal trainer and a ECLA race founder, the slide with the two pictures side by side. I don't know if you can go back one more slide before this. Let's see, where is it? Actually, okay. So let's see. Actually, let me see. I think I might have. So as we mentioned, some of the accomplishments and the career that my dad had when he transitioned to DC from LA. He started off as doing personal training at a health and fitness center there. And as we mentioned before, he was in Arlington, Virginia, consecutively in co-founding and founding the race with Jay. So these are some things I think are really amazing about him. The next one is just showing, as we showed before. The next slide is just showing him in his in a certificate that he got, being thanked by the Arlington Corporation Foundation for putting together the Tequila Day races. And then this picture, which on the left is Tequila. I just thought this was really amazing, poignant photo because although he himself was an Olympian, he was busy lifting other people up who had been, accomplished things. Instead of thinking about himself and putting himself on a poster and saying, this is about me and what I've done, he always looked at the inspiration that was given to him and lifting others up. So I thought that this was really amazing, and I think it's a really good lesson for us as youth and the younger generation to know that, we should always pay homage to those before us. instead of just ourselves and our own accomplishments, because we need the motivation from our forefathers. The next slide, moving on, is that he is one thing about my dad. He's always been a proud Ethiopian. He always was proud to be Ethiopian. That was like always representing, always got the flag, whether it's on the hat, whether it's his car. He painted his whole car the Ethiopian flag, and at first I thought it was crazy when he did it. And we were all like, what? I mean, this was just not that long ago, like 2016, 2017, when he decided to take our Nissan Sentra and wrap it in the Ethiopian flag. That's how bold and proud, like, he was as a countryman and as an individual, proud to be who he was. And he actually had a photo bumper, not bumper sticker, but rear window sticker that he had me stick on the window, the word, "Don't change the flag, change yourself." So he actually made me post this on his Facebook page on the right side, where it says, "Don't change the flag, change yourself." And if you can see on the rear window, there's a little bit of yellow writing. That's exactly what the writing says. It says, "Don't change the flag, change yourself." And this showed that, he wanted to preserve, the flag. I think the flag was changing at some point. They added like the blue star, and I don't know if that was like a political thing, but he was always very politically charged whenever it comes to Ethiopia and all of these things. So I thought that was really amazing. So the next slide is also just showing his love of cars. That's his famous bumper sticker, excuse me, his license plate, the ex-Olympian on the far left. You see that's that is his Mercedes-Benz antique model 280C, I believe. And that's my uncle right there as well next to him. He passed within the same couple of months as my dad. Well, we miss him a lot, and we miss both of them. So as you see it on the right side, he's also has the Tequila shirt on, and he has the car behind him with the Ethiopian flag. And I also added a link where it says Ethio car. If you can click the link for me, and I can show you a video. If you can log into Facebook, I think maybe we can watch it. If possible. I hope that it is public. Maybe if you log in, maybe you might have to log in to watch the video. It's my dad. He's speaking about the car. Is it possible to log in?
That's fine.
Okay. I hope that it's. Louder.
Yeah.
Have to put the volume, rewind it.
Can you mute everybody, please?
Yeah, mute.
ሁለት የማውቃቸው ሰዎች እዮቤና ሽፌ እዚህ ጋር ነው። እዮቤ ይታያል። ሽፌ ደግሞ ሽፌን አንተ ታውቀዋለህ። ቆይ እስኪ ኤርፎን ላርግና
Okay. If you can replay it, but with sound, because we couldn't hear it.
Oh, sound like someone?
Yeah, the sound was off.
I can hear the sound. I don't know if I'm able to share the sound. That's the thing.
Put it loud first before you click play. See if you can increase the volume before you play it, if possible.
Are you somewhere?
No, I can't hear it. I thought I heard it earlier, but I did hear it briefly, but let's see. I can just see maybe I can. Okay. Maybe a new window.
Okay, chat ላይ ላደርገው ነው ሊንኩ። Okay, you want me to move on? You want me to move on now?
I can try to say it on my phone. Let me see if you guys can see it. Can you guys?
Oh, okay.
Let me see if you guys can see it.
ባንዲራውን አትቀይሩት፣ ራሳችሁን ቀይሩ ነው። ይህን ባንዲራ የቀየሩ ሰዎች ራሳችሁን ቀይሩ። ባንዲራው ለብዙ ሺህ ዓመት የቆየ ነው። አሁን መጣችሁ ባንዲራችን ቀርም ብላችሁ ሌላ ከለር መለወጥ አትችሉም። እና ይህን ነው ማለት ነው።
Okay, so I hope you guys could see that. That was just him explaining the car, and he wrapped it in Ethiopian flag. So next slide after that, will show you is that his legacy is also that he was a devout Orthodox Christian member and an early founder of the Dingle Mariam Orthodox Church in Los Angeles. And was a board member serving from 1986 to 1993. And here's a photograph with one of the priests there. When my son, when he arranged my son, his grandson, to be baptized in 2017. So this was a very nice photograph. I was able to capture that. So he loved church and he loved his country. And moving on to the next slide, my dad always said, my history is your history. And that's something he always wanted us to be aware of and to be proud of, and to know that we can be anybody we want to be. And, with God's help and the community around us, the sky is there's more to the world, and the sky's the limit. So this is another motivating factor for telling his story. So the next slide. These are some photographs of me and my dad in the church. On the left is me my brother Johannes when we were really small, growing up in the church in the Virgin Mary Orthodox Church. This is me on the left, and then this is me on the right, like 20 years later or something like that, maybe even longer, like 25 years, almost 30 years later, in the same setting at church, eating the dabbo, eating the bread, and communing with one another was one of my favorite times to be with my dad was at church. That was somewhere he always loved to be. So that's one photograph. The next slide, he loved his children. One thing is he took us everywhere. He did everything he could do for us, including birthday parties, big birthday parties. On the left side, you see he had the happy birthday banner for Johannes Salam, February 25th in 1995. And because we were both born in February, I was February 7th and Johannes is February 15th. So we would have to have the birthdays on the same day because there will be in February birthday. So we decided this year, I guess they decided it would be the 25th for both of us. And look at me, I was very happy and smiling, and my brother's right there smiling, and my cousin Mohammed's in the middle. On the right, is us. We are also at the church, Virgin Mary Orthodox Church, right after church. And you see how happy my dad was just to always have us around him anytime. And the next slide. These are some more photographs. We really loved the time we used to go to the soccer field, whether it was the Ethiopian teams that were playing, or we were just traveling to visit other soccer teams. It would really be so fun and so memorable for us to go and be with our dad, and everybody's just happy to be there and watch the sports activities as they went along. And I can't wait to also carry on that tradition with my children. I have a 4-year-old and 1-year-old, and grandchildren of Seifu, and we'll make sure that if not they can play sports themselves, they can always attend sporting events like this. One thing is, my dad used to always collect the World Cup memorabilia, and he has a big collection of like World Cup pins for every year. And you see the shirt he has is USA 94 World Cup right there. So that's very memorable for me. Johannes, do you want to say anything? Wait, there's Johannes. Just unmute him. He's right there, but he's using somebody else's Zoom link, so that's why the name looks different. But it's where it says Miami Canela. You can unmute him so he can talk because he's in the picture.
Which one?
Where is the black cap? He said his shirt. Show your shirt, Johannes. Show your shirt. He's right there with the Ethiopian shirt and the Eritrean flag. Johannes,
he can unmute himself now.
Yeah, unmute yourself, Johannes. Okay.
Well, everybody can hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. How are you? I'm not sure who's on here. I can see a little bit. Is Eob still on here? Eob and Chef?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, hello. How are you guys?
Doing fine, thank you.
That's good. I just, it's different. For me,
What are your memories of this picture? Like, do you have any memories?
Not really from the pictures. I don't really have too many memories, but I just always remember, our dad, like, teaching us, like, foundations of how to be, like good people, you know. As kids, I remember a little bit. I just remember being more family oriented, you know. So as I got older, it kind of distanced myself from that because we weren't really around our father. But I always remembered, you know, certain things that we did with him, and you know, he taught us a lot. So I always think about like him, his voice, you know, it's always talk to me in the back of my head saying like, you know, keep going, keep trying, like don't stop. So I know he's a role model, and you know, he was always seemed like he was like something was wrong with him, but he wouldn't show it, you know. He was really strong, like how he like carried himself, you know. So I know he accomplished a lot of stuff, but I think a lot of things is like he wanted people to like it was different, you know. It's more of like a motivation for people, like sometimes when you do great things, you know that you from outside looking in, people they see it, but you don't. How can I explain it? It's your talent, you know. So he knew how to use his talent to inspire others. At the same time, people are always going to tell you, "Oh, you're doing good. You're good at this. You're good at that." But you have to have the mentality to always feel like you can become better. You know, that's how these great people reach things in life. So a lot of people did great things in his country, you know, and he looked up to people also. As good as he was, he always talked about others. You know, he always talked about other athletes that are better than him and who he looked up to. You know, and he always encouraged me to keep training. He really wanted me to run. You know, like always run. You know, you can do long distance. It's in you and all this. You know. So in the back of my head, I always think about that. You know, I have to do something to keep his name alive. You know, and wherever I come across, like I tried to do the same thing he did, inspire them through sports. I always tell people to train. You know, I come across kids, I show them things I know. Like I play a little basketball. I show them things. You know, I tell them to keep their conditioning up. Cardio is important for the body. You know, you won't when you work out physically fit, you won't become as sick. You know, your body where we put a lot of stuff in our body, food and stuff, and it makes us feel a certain type of way. But you have to get this stuff out of your body by sweating. You know, cardiovascular health is very important. And I know Eob, he's on here, and I used to train with Eob for a little bit, and he showed me a lot of stuff. You know, how to same thing, kind of like my dad showed me how to keep pushing, you know, even if you're tired. Eob did a lot of great things too for the community as far as his running and his accomplishments. Even though he was in maybe not in the Olympics, it doesn't matter, you know, because everybody's path is different. You can do great things even if you're not in a professional stage, but he's still a professional, you know, even if you're not seen to the world as, you know, it doesn't mean you're not a professional. He can get out there. He could do the same thing they do. You know, it's just about opportunity. And if he really, you know, wants that path, sometimes you don't want that it's a lot of behind the scenes. You know, you don't want to be the guy always on everybody sees. You want to be, you know, it's different for everybody. And, you know, Chef, he's here too. He done a lot for the Ethiopian community, inspiring the people. Also with the helping the church people. And I know that he works with the soccer team and stuff. So, you know, everybody has a big part in everything. So I just think everybody, I love my dad and his friends, you know, and he always talked about you guys, you know, he talked about himself, he talked about others, and how he loved you guys. Even when he was in hospital, he always used to tell me, how are my friends doing, you know, go check on them, make sure to tell them I'm okay and everything. And I remember when one of his friends passed away, I forgot his name. He was with the soccer foundation. He did soccer too, dark skinned guy.
Is that for Leka?
No. He always
Mohammed.
Muhammad's the dad.
Muhammad. Yeah, chef. Muhammad. Yes. He Muhammad used to train us when I used to go to soccer. My dad used to drop us off or drop me off when I was playing with the team for a little bit. I'm not that good, you know, but he still dropped me off even when he was sick. He dropped me off. I remember every Wednesday and Friday, he'd drop me off. And he still be on dialysis, and he'll just say, go train with them. You don't have to be good. You know, you'll get good just by being with them, you know? So that encouraged me to be out there with them. They knew I played basketball, but they still, even though those guys, you know, they showed me love, even though I wouldn't play soccer. So they just showed me some type of orientation of kind of like a fellowship, even if you're not good, we're gonna teach you something and, you know, help us. And I feel like I help them too at the same time, because I by me running before practice, sometimes they see me and I would run around the track and I would just keep going, and then they look at me like, oh, you know, even he doesn't not that good in soccer, he still has the drive to, you know, try to. So every little thing you might not think of, it can be inspiration for people. You know, you don't even know you're inspiring them, but they watch you, you know, your actions, and they watch how you are, how you speak and everything to them. So I feel like maybe, you know, one day I can do something, you know, my dad will be proud of, you know. So I always think about it in the back of my head, you know. I feel like every day I work on it and I think about it, you know. And I know he's proud of us, like, just for being, like, you know, what's the word? For growing up the right way, you know, like still having the right character. He taught us a lot about that, you know. But yeah, my dad did a lot, you know, he did a lot. And I wish I was there to like see it like with my own eyes. You know, I hear people talk about it and everything, and it shocks me sometimes. I see people in different places and they say they knew him, you know, and it tells me stories about him. And it's kind of like, I'm like, wow, you know, because to me, he's my dad, but to others, it's different. You know, they feel like he's the hero. They tell me, like, your dad's the hero. You know, he's a hero to us and everything. So I feel like I feel like we're all heroes in our own way. You know, we're all heroes in our own way. We just have to tap into that, you know, ask God to help us, to guide us, to find our purpose in this world. You know, we're here for a reason. Everybody, you know, but the ultimate goal is, to my dad always said, you know, love each other, you know. So Anden, and he's like, we are one, meaning, you know, we are one. No matter if they try to divide us, we are one. And that's what he tried to push. You know, he always said, I'm running for president. And I used to laugh. I didn't know what he meant. I'm like, you serious? I'm like, maybe, you know, you would be a good president. And I said, if you're president, can you like make me the head of Ethiopian basketball, you know, something, you know, so I could show people or something. So he was like, in my head, I feel like I have to do something like this to make him happy, you know. So I feel like, you know, we need to stick together as family, as friends and everything. And in America, sometimes I feel like they push the culture away. That's why everything's divided right now. And you see in this world, they want us to be, oh, this and that, you know, and they come to the countries and they're taking away our, you know, they're trying to make everybody too many rules, you know, instead of just being, everybody have their own, everybody's a human. We should all have our own speech. We should all have our own, you know, God made us in our own way. So I feel like we should all, what's the word? Yeah. We should all have a freedom, you know. This is a freedom in the world, you know, not to be controlled. So a lot of stuff is happening, you know, have all coronavirus and all this. And at the same time, I feel like I don't really know too much of what's going on, but I feel like something's going on with that too, you know. So I feel like we should pray more, you know, and really like think before we see stuff, but we should do our own research too, you know. But at the same time, I just want to say thank everybody on here. I don't want to hold too many time to keep talking to, but thank everybody. I remember some people when I see their face, but you know, growing up, I remember a lot of people. They came to our birthday parties and everything, and they watched me when I was younger. So when I see them, sometimes they say, "Oh, I knew you when you were a kid." You know, it just brings back memories. Sometimes, you know, so I just want to say God bless everybody, and I hope one day I can do something like my dad and my sister, and keep inspiring each other. Help each other out in every way, and I love everybody here. God bless.
Thank you, Hannes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really nice. And you told us some untold stories. And Tibo used to, when we sit down, when we talk, he highly talks about you. And you do have a talent in basketball. Hopefully someday we might see you on a national team, on NBA. And we thank you. We thank you for your time, buddy. Appreciate it. So we'll move on to.
I have a bit of slides, but when you guys for that.
Okay, let me try. I just want to acknowledge Mr. Chuangzao Aganafer. He is present, but he lost his voice. He can't even talk. But I want to thank him that he is present with us. There are like 4 people which I want to thank: Muhammad Ahmed, Tashoma Matuku, Theodros Matuku, rest in peace, and Mogus and Gurmachoru. They were present at the fundraising, and they performed without asking any money to do the fundraise. So I want to thank them. Okay, the next one which I want to say is when you're talking about Tibo. Tibo is a great ambassador for Ethiopia. There's a saying, you can take me out of Ethiopia, but no one can take Ethiopia out of me. That was his motto. He is an amazing guy, and I'm very thankful that his 2 children, they're here. And you can show the slide if you want now, and then we'll go to remarks from the audience, and if they want to say something, and Q&A. I think you're mute. Okay.
Sorry about that. So the next slide just shows that my dad was a very big family man, and he really loved his friends as well. Here on the left side is a picture with his mom and my grandmother and his sister and his adopted sister there on the left, and he always loved to be surrounded with groups of people that he loved. And this one on the right shows his aunt and my grandmother, his mother, on the right, far right. And he's always smiling. That's one thing I always really remember about my dad. He always had like a huge smile on his face whenever he was happy, and around those that he wanted to be with. And then after this slide, you go on showing some pictures that I really admire, that we took together, that I will always hold dear and dear to my heart. This left one is we were at church, Virgin Mary Church. In the middle one, we were at home with the Virgin Mary calendar in the background, and then we had another picture when we were in Virginia. We were at the process of trying to, actually we were in the laundromat washing clothes when we went to visit DC for the Ethiopian marathon running that he founded. So go ahead and you can go to the next part, shift. This you can go back to the part shift that you wanted to discuss. Those are and then I'll go over the last 2 later.
Okay. So we're gonna go next to the audience. If they have remarks or want to say a few words, but because of time limitation, I want you to make it a little bit short. And if you have any questions and answer, we'll be allocating that time right now. You can raise your arms. Anybody want to say something? Can we put the share screen?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Shifi.
Okay. Marlebel?
Samallo?
Yes, it's Samela. What's your name?
Okay. My name is Cabre, and
Oh, Kubre. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Kabria.
Okay. Okay. Um, First of all, I just want to say deeply my condolences and to his beautiful children. And I've known Seifu since back home. It's been a long time. He was a Ethiopian, a really hero for boxing sport. And we were like, whenever we see him, or my gosh, here comes Seifu, because he was huge. We used to see him at YMCA doing his practice. Honestly, for Ethiopian, he was big. So he was someone that we always look up. And he was very successful and very famous as well. And I got a chance to travel with him for all African Games to Algeria. And I was, in sport as well. It was really nice. And I didn't know him that well, even though we were all in sport field. But he knew me, I knew him. And then after I came here, wow, we happened to know more each other. And he was at our wedding. He was just one of the guy who was at the park. I have a beautiful memory picture with him. He was there from the beginning to the end at our wedding. And of course, we all got, our own way. And I got married, had kids. And as well, he had kids. And we always laugh whenever we see each other. He's a very joyful person, very happy. And after he got sick, I got a chance to visit him at the hospital. And when he was at nursing home, it was just like, whenever I go there, let me turn, sorry, my husband is on the other phone. Let me turn, it's echoing. He never complained. He's in bed and with really like hard time and pain, and nothing comes out of his mouth except thanking God. A smile, he's just joyful and always talking about his son, his daughter. Wow, it's just, it's just a blessing. It is a blessing. And that's the memory that I have about Seifu. And honestly, I didn't get a chance to attend his funeral, even though I knew him and I really deeply wanted to be there because of COVID. And I just want to say thank you to Warko Shibashi. He's the one who shared me the link. And really, I'm honored to be part of this ceremony. And I'm really deeply saddened he's gone, but we all gonna go in our time. And I'm so grateful his son and his daughters are keeping his legacy. And thank you so much for the host as well. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Kabria. That was a beautiful witnessing, and when you're young at the YMCA.
Yes, yes.
I want to say a few things about the YMCA. The YMCA is a place, an institute, which really raised so many young, and some of them, they couldn't even go to school, and they were very poor, and the YMCA was accommodating all those. And I've seen it, so many of them very successful in leadership, in different sectors. And it was a great one, which make me feel sad, but the YMCA was taken over by different, different facility. but we're still fighting to get it back. I want to give a chance to somebody else, and if you say a few words, and you can unmute and you can say something, because Seifu, he has touched so many different lives in different ways. Okay, Iyo, go ahead.
I wanted to just jump in here and say a few words. First and foremost, I wanted to thank Johnny for recognizing our run together. I helped him run his very first LA marathon, and we trained together. And I remember so distinctly, not just Johnny's efforts, but his dad was gravely sick, and yet he was responsible for bringing him over as early as 7 o'clock, all the way to Marina del Rey to do our beach runs. And he would wait around sometimes more than an hour for us to come back from our double-digit mileage. And so much commitment, so much dedication that he had to see Johnny, flourish and basically improve his running skills. That is etched deeply in my mind forever. But since we're on the subject of, celebrating his legacy and also recognizing the impact that the YMCA has had on all of us, I wanted to bring up one anecdote that I remember so distinctly. As you know, the location of the Arakilo YMCA is a few blocks up the hill from the Gimfile River and everything related to that river. One of the things that Gimfile River was known for was that it was used by taxi drivers to get a car wash. And I remember distinctly like it was yesterday. It's so deeply etched in my memory that one of those days, the car wash folks were so busy washing as many taxi cabs as they possibly could, and generating water directly from the river, that whole entire area got muddy and just was just a puddle of muckamuck. And one of the collateral damages of that effect was one of the cabs. I remember a Fiat 600 Millicento was actually caught in the muckamuck and stuck. And no matter how many people came and pushed, they could not get that little Fiat car out of that thick and deep mud puddle until Seifu comes over, basically just passing by the Gimfile Bridge on his way to his workout at YMCA. So being as giant as he was, he gets summoned by the whole entire crowd to come and help out. And to this day, I'll never forget that he basically gave a young kid to hold on to his duffel bag and basically like a dead weight, like a bodybuilder, simply picked up that entire Fiat car and actually pushed it forward to actually move it out of the mud. And to this day, that is seen that as a very extraordinary and miraculous thing that this gentle giant was able to do. Going back to another anecdote that he shared with me, in his experiences, talk about somebody who loved his motherland. And Shif, you said it right when you mentioned that, you could take somebody out of Ethiopia, but never taking Ethiopia out of that person's heart. And he was such a person, not only, just this talking about it, but indeed. And one of the biggest manifestations in his career that hardly not too many people know about is that at one point when the political fire or political heat, I should say, during the Derg regime got so intense, he actually was forced to flee the country through the southern part of Moyale into Kenya. And he spent quite a bit of time as a professional boxer for the Kenyan Brewery Club, where he represented well, until such time as high officials of the Ethiopian government actually called him back with apologies to come and represent his nation during the Olympics. And what does he do? He comes right back to Ethiopia to represent the nation. So I don't know too many people who, once they have defected and basically left the country for good, basically take into consideration, any kind of invitation back. And he did so. He did so, and to this day, he never regrets it, because to him, love of country does not necessarily mean love of government. It means love of people. It means love of landscape. It means love of history and love of culture. And to recognize somebody like him posthumously, unfortunately, it has to be posthumously, is something that we collectively can do, the very least we can do. And we need to keep this tradition up so that people get to be recognized while they're still alive, and to thank them while they still can recognize and appreciate that gratitude while they're still alive, and not so much wait until they've passed away to bring back some vivid memories of what we have of them. That's what I wanted to emphasize. And if there's anything that we take away from today's meeting, I strongly suggest that we should really recognize and celebrate the heroes among us, some of which have been mentioned, and some of which who are out there under the radar, but nonetheless, we need to recognize that. And I thank you.
Thank you, Yob. That was really great. I think somebody raised his hand. Alex Abeba. He was a former YMCA member. I know I've seen him playing soccer. A good soccer player too. So I'll give you a chance. Go ahead, Alex.
Thank you, Shefe. እንዲሁም እህቶቼ ወንድሞቼ ለብዙ ጊዜ በተለይ ዮብ ለብዙ ጊዜ ያላየኋችሁ በጣም ደስ የሚል ቀን ነው። Thank you, Johnny and Salamawit, for doing this kind of memory. It was amazing. I just want to make those two kids to laugh. They're not kids anymore. They are grown up. But Seifu and I, we live like 100 meters apart. I live, next to English school, and he was in Minilik Hospital, which is a walking distance. And every time Seifu walk, it's like an elephant is moving on that street. And every one of us, like to see him like somebody's just in the, in that neighborhood, the big guy. So he goes to YMCA, and then he does his weightlifting. And then I think at the time, maybe I was around 10 or 12. He was maybe around 15. We didn't have, the age-wise, but huge. He was huge because somehow his gene is a different gene than any Ethiopians. And then we used to play soccer in that small field. And then every time Seifu comes, we just, have to be scared of him. But he is the most wonderful man and gentleman. And, all he does is do his lift and come back. Then, that's the way he was. But when we are in elementary school, I just want to make you guys laugh. There is at Minilik school, there is Sagada Andarge, who was a karatist. And then Seifu, Kokabaswa Secondary School, he was a bodybuilder and he was a boxer. So these are the two rivals. And we all, when they meet to fight, like a bullfight here in this country, and we were supporting, Seifu. And then the most dangerous thing is if you go in Seifu's hand, you're a dead fish. So Sagada, every time he fights, he don't want to get close to him. He tried to throw his legs to, to knock him off. But Seifu, he always want to go grab him. So once Sagada is got in Seifu's hand, he cannot breathe. So we were just shouting and supporting. And then the next day we go to Minilik school, another fight. And then we go there and supporting. And then the supporters are fighting each other, just like the cheerleaders here. They, hey, you come into our territory, we fight, the little kids. And then they come to Kabana, they get beaten up too. So it was a fun time. So, when I was in YMCA for a few years, until I was 15, then I was watching him lifting weights, and he amazingly, he has 3-4 meals in that little restaurant YMCA, and man, Seifu, it's like amazing. So we just say, I wish I can eat 1/4 of it at that time, and then because he was huge and he has to eat because it's he's doing a lot of workouts, he sweats, and he's doing all these boxing practices. After that, take a shower, and then he just to the restaurant. So literally he was our role model. And then when I start playing soccer, I was apart from YMCA, and then like Eyob said, during the Derg, somebody just finger point on him or jealous at him. At that time, when somebody's jealous on you, they just arrest you. So he was in jail for 6 months or so. And then since then, he left, like Eyob said, to Kenya, playing for that professional club. And then we lost a big, he could have been a heavyweight champion, or Africa, of Africa, or maybe in the world, because at that time we didn't have, the facility and the finance and a good promoter. If he had that, he would be like, Muhammad Ali or any of those big fighters. But because his weight and his height and everything. So, I mean, once, we met here in LA, he was always going with us to this 35 tournaments, every year when we go to every state, he was with us. He was very supportive. He's a true Ethiopian. I mean, just like, you saw his car, yellow, green, and red, and that's what Seifu is. So even during his hardship, time, and just like my wife said, every time we go see him, he make you even more laughter. I'm scared to see him in that, when you see somebody, when you're an athlete and then you see him in that kind of shape, you get, very down. But I couldn't believe it, the strength, that he have inside of him. That's God-given. None of us would have that. I only know 2 people in this country, very strong. Another guy, Zodu Takala, he lives in Vegas. He had a throat surgery. And every time I talk to him, he's an amazing guy, just like Seifu. There are 2 Ethiopian great fellows. When people go through that kind of stage, they never, complain, or they never say, I'm sick. He always, just like my wife says, he always tell us about his kids, joy, and his life, about fight, about politics. I mean, it's amazing. So I wish, we all have that kind of courage. But I could have said so many things for more hours, and we don't have much time. And I thank you so much for preparing this kind of ceremony. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. I think it looks like we're going to be running out of time, but I do want to thank ECLA for giving us a chance to the 2 children, those 2 beautiful children, to tell the story of their big dad and to carry the legacy. And I hope the youth will get a lesson out of this, and whatever God calls you for the talent, for the gifts, and then you follow up and you push it. And I learned a lot from Tibo, the great fighter. Never quit, and he always a fighter. He might be gone now, but he'll never be forgotten. He will dwell in our hearts, and he's a great guy. And before I go, Salam, I just want to give you one chance. You have, hold on, you do have 2 children.
Mhm.
You name your daughter
Yes,
Saba,
last
and
year.
name your son Emperor.
Mhm.
Would that make you a royal family? Just
Yes.
say a few things on that, and then we'll move on, and we'll update. We'll close there.
Well, I want to just go back to the last 2 slides that I made, just to show how I would like to conclude this program. So I just want to let everyone know, through my dad, he's still with all of us. He's forever our hero. He's always going to leave behind his legacy. It will never die, and his legacy lives on forever. So with this program, I would like the next slide moving forward. I would like to thank you all. ECLA, I would like to thank Hughes. I would like to thank Worku. I would also like to thank a special thank you to Shiv for helping with this program and moderating and helping to structure this. Thank you for the speakers that have been able to share their personal, heartfelt feelings, and all the friends. Thank you, Eob. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Johannes. Thank you, all the friends of ECLA. I know COVID really made it very difficult for all of us, because even me and Johannes didn't get a chance to see our dad or be with our dad the last 3 months of his life, because COVID, they would not allow any other people in the intensive care unit except one designated person. So we just want to share that platform with everybody to express their feelings and their thoughts about our dad. And just know that me and Johannes, we thank all of you from the bottom of our hearts for your love and for your time and your attention. And thank you for all of the people that have helped me put this together. And thank you very much for the love that you guys have shown my dad. Even in his sick time, I did notice there was still so many people to come and organize a fundraiser on his behalf. I would also like to thank them very much. Thank you so much for all the organizers, and really appreciate you all. God bless all of you. And please, anyone visiting this program after its recording, you can also visit seifutibo.org for more information about my father, the legend and the hero. May he live, his memory be eternal, and long live Seifu Tibo Makonnen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm going to be closing, and appreciate it for all of you who came to attend. And I've seen it from so many different locations, and will be done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Everybody for thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
God be with all of you. Thank you.
Makonnen,
Yeah.
what's up, buddy?
All right. Hey, you are
How are you?
you.
I thought that was you right there. How are you?
Yeah, with my mask. Let me take it off.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was in a store.
Oh, that's
Uh,
okay.
I had to wear my mask.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm okay. You know, just hanging in there. Just think, you know, I always pray to God, you know.
Are you in a car?
No, I'm